Shavua Tov, everybody. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, where you join me every Monday to Thursday for your top stories from Israel. And as always, we're brought to you by Lay of the Land. Yes, you can see I'm all wrapped up today. It looks like winter has arrived with a vengeance. So let's take a look at the latest developments in Operation Swords of Iron, or Israel's war with Hamas. And we go back to Shifa Hospital, which really has been the epicenter of news coverage over the last week or so. And why is this? The IDF announced several weeks ago that they had good intelligence that the Shifa Hospital, the biggest hospital in the Gaza Strip, was being used as a base for Hamas, and that underneath the hospital was a network of tunnels as well as Hamas headquarters. It was also believed that the hostages could have been moved or trafficked through Shifa Hospital. So the IDF have released some of the most damning evidence against Hamas in the last 48 hours. But let's go back to Friday, just before the release of all the information. The IDF sent in ready-made meals, incubators, water, medicines, and fuel into Shifa Hospital. In fact, Israel has agreed to allow in 2 fuel trucks per day with the specific aim of giving fuel to medical care facilities. Now, this has led to a lot of widespread criticism. There are some people here in Israel who believe that there shouldn't be anything given to the Gaza Strip until we have the hostages freed. But we are a humane country with a humane army, and our priority is ensuring that civilians in Gaza remain safe while we get on with the necessary job of removing Hamas. So let's take a look at some of the evidence that the IDF have shared. And again, I encourage you all to check out the IDF's YouTube channel. They're sharing a lot of the information there. And I do have to give it to many international news outlets who are sharing the information as well. So one of the most damning pieces of evidence was the discovery of a tunnel some 10 meters deep down underground and about 55 meters long, with a big aluminium door where you could see a shooting hole. Now, these tunnels invariably are booby-trapped, and we don't know what kind of horrific surprises could be lying in wait for our troops. So they sent down a drone and shared the footage. I mean, it's just extraordinary. If you think that the billions in aid that has been given to the Gaza Strip with the intention of improving the lives of ordinary Palestinian citizens has been used by Hamas, a terrorist organization, to fund this metro of tunnels where they stay safe, while the people of Gaza have to deal with airstrikes and military campaigns, the Hamas terrorists remain safe in those tunnels. Imagine that money was spent improving the lives of ordinary civilians. So along with showing us and actually taking us down into the tunnel, the IDF also shared CCTV footage from inside Shifa Hospital, which shows that Hamas terrorists on the 7th of October, and you can actually see the timestamp, it's around 10:30 or so, pulling in, manhandling several hostages, one believed to be from Nepal and one believed to be from Thailand. Now, what is also just unbelievable are there are doctors, medical staff in their scrubs milling around, and you can see these Hamas terrorists are in no need of any medical attention. And this is in addition to the evidence that the IDF showed last week of the guns, the grenades, the laptops, the manuals, all found inside Shifa Hospital. I know there are some media outlets who have been trying to debunk the evidence. I don't know what needs to happen. Do we need to actually put journalists from the BBC or Sky News down into the tunnels for a friendly terrorist to pop up in their face for them to believe us? But this is what we saw. And the IDF also announced last night the very sad news that they had found Noah Marciano, one of the hostages who was murdered by Hamas, whose body was found last week. They announced that she had been found in Shifa hospital, and she had been killed by Hamas terrorists. They said that while she had been mildly injured during a military bombing, she was intentionally murdered by Hamas. They also spoke about the fact that we can see that hostages have been moved through Shifa hospital. Now you're hearing some alerts in the background. There are rockets coming in somewhere around the country. We've just had a big barrage towards the southern cities of Ashdod and Ashkelon. We are still getting rockets fired from the Gaza Strip into Israel, and we have had exchanges of fire on the northern border with Lebanon as well. Over the weekend, the Tanzanian government announced that Clemence Matanga, who was a student, just 19 years old, from Tanzania, who was in Israel as part of an agricultural exchange program, was also one of the hostages who has been found murdered by Hamas terrorists. So we now have confirmation of three hostages, who have been confirmed murdered by Hamas: Clemence Matanga, Judith Weiss, and Noah Marcian. Noah from right here in Modi'in, just 19 years herself. So we will continue to update you on what is happening as the IDF push now further down south towards the city of Khan Yunis, again appealing for Palestinian civilians to move to safer areas. Now, with regards to babies inside Shifa hospital, yesterday the IDF, along with the World Health Organization, managed to evacuate some 31 premature babies to safety outside of the hospital. It is believed many of them have gone to Egypt. We do have medical care coming in from the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, who've set up a field hospital, and France, who have sent their helicopter carrier to be used as a medical facility off the coast of Egypt. Italy as well have also offered military aid for the people of Gaza. Yesterday, news broke that Iranian-backed Houthi rebels had seized a cargo ship in the Red Sea. It was initially believed that it was an Israeli cargo ship. It has been confirmed that it was not an Israeli cargo ship. It was a Japanese cargo ship, and there were no Israelis aboard. The Japanese government have said they will be dealing directly with Houthi rebels. The Crown Prince of Bahrain, speaking to a security summit in the capital Manama, condemned the military action in Gaza, but he also condemned Hamas for their carrying out of a brutal massacre against Israeli civilians on the 7th of October, where we've been speaking a lot about the depravity, the barbarity of that attack, and also called on Hamas to release the hostages. I believe the words that His Royal Highness said was that somebody needs to talk straight to Hamas, and he says no Arab leader has, so he is going to release the hostages. And speaking of Arab leadership, Abu Mazen, or Mahmoud Abbas, the president of the Palestinian Authority, has come under enormous criticism for posting on X that he believed that Israeli helicopters had fired at festival goers in Re'im at the Nova festival on the 7th of October. Not only has that horrific account of massacre denial been roundly debunked by police and army, he has retracted that statement after the United States, Israel, and other countries expressed how disgusted they were. Today is World Child's Day, and I'm going to try and get through this without crying. This will be the time to remind UNICEF, the World Health Organization, Save the Child, and all the children's NGOs out in the world who have been silent about the fact that between 35 and 40 children are being held hostage by Hamas in the Gaza Strip. We thought the youngest would be 10-month-old Kafir Bibas, his gorgeous toothy grin and burnished copper hair. But one of the hostages, a Thai woman, is confirmed to have given birth while in captivity. Can you imagine that? Giving birth to your baby in a dark tunnel, a terror tunnel, controlled by Hamas terrorists. So the youngest baby being held hostage is a newborn. The United Nations, UNESCO, the World Health Organization, women's organizations, children NGOs have been silent when it comes to the rape, the mutilation, the torture, the murder, and the kidnapping of Israeli women and children. Every single one of us, especially on a day like today, which is World Child's Day, and on a day like the 25th of November, which is the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, need to hold them accountable. Let's not be silent. Silence is being complicit. Let's demand wherever we are, be it on social media or letters, wherever we can, to demand the end of silence. Israeli women, Israeli children are human beings too, and it's time that they are acknowledged. And finally, on Friday, I went down south with my friend, photojournalist Ilan Ossendrever. We went to the town of Sderot, a town very close to my heart. I go there quite often. I meet delegations there. Sderot was a killing field on the 7th of October, and you can actually see the evidence for yourself in the pockmarked buildings. The police station, which was destroyed after Hamas terrorists took command of it and wouldn't leave, and the IDF had to dynamite the police building. Our hope and our prayers is that the police inside almost assuredly were no longer with us when this happened. What really struck me is that these sukkahs for the festival of Sukkot were still standing. The town is a ghost town except for the military presence. Every now and then we could hear the phew of the interceptions of the Iron Dome, as well as the bangs from the tanks firing their artillery shells towards Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip. But what also really, really struck me, and I went into the shelters, these would have been the shelters that festival goers tried to seek safety on the 7th of October. They're only built to hold about 10 to 12 people. Imagine 20 to 40 people in there with hand grenades thrown at them, being mowed down by Kalashnikov rifles by Hamas terrorists. We drove a little way down towards Nahal Oz. We couldn't go onto the kibbutzim because there are secure areas at the moment. And I thought as we drove on those roads of how on the 7th of October they were littered with the bodies of our citizens, men, women, children, Muslims, Christians, Jews, foreign visitors. We got to Kibbutz Sa'ad, which is very close to where the graveyard of the cars are. And that was very, very hard for me to comprehend. Each of those burnt out cars to me represents a person who went to a peace festival or lived on a kibbutz who just wanted peace. You can still smell the stench of death. It was a very, very difficult day. I'm still trying to process it. If I do have the ability to go down to the kibbutzim, I will definitely let you know. But it is so important that we bear witness, because the world has a short memory and they're forgetting the events of the 7th of October. And so it is an imperative that we are here to remind them. I'm Rolene Marks, and this is the Israel Brief for today. Don't forget that you can check out our website at www.layoftheland.online for all of our in-depth coverage. Our YouTube channel, including a clip of me inside one of the shelters in Sderot, is at the Israel Brief. Please like, share, subscribe. Our Facebook channel is at Lotlsite, that's at LOTLSITE, and we're on Twitter at layoftheland5. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief. I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care of yourselves.